Welcome back to Overhead Recipes. This is David again for another set of Breville Barista Express tutorial videos. In this episode, we will talk about what is the difference between cleaning and descaling and how I prefer to do it. And as you can see, we are going to use my preferred product, which is Knos espresso and coffee cleaning products. Once again, please support the channel by giving the video a like and subscribe and click that notification bell for future videos. Appreciate your help, and let's get back to the video. So let's go back to why we are making this video. So primarily, our machine will flash whether it's telling us to descale the machine or to clean the machine. We have another video on cleaning the machine. I'll leave it a link below, but the primary difference between using a descaler and a coffee machine cleaner really stems from whether you're cleaning where the coffee producing section goes or where the water passes. Those are not the same, and in this video we're focusing on the descaling part. So what exactly is the cleaning and descaling difference? So the descaling is where the actual coffee extraction happens. That means from the pump it passes from the tank, it passes through the pump to the solenoids, and it goes out to the portafilter. So that's what the coffee machine cleaning cycle does. When you hold the 1 cup 2 cup button and the power button and you trigger the cleaning cycle, it backflushes the system and cleans the coffee oils and all those things out. The descaler, however, is more on cleaning where the water actually passes through the entire machine. That includes the group head and the shower head that you see right now, but it also includes where the hot water comes out, and that does not get cleaned when you're running the cleaning cycle. This will only happen if you manually run the descale cycle and also with the steam one. This can only happen when you're running water through the normal usage of the steam one and the hot water dispenser. So again, we're using the Knos product right now. I like this product simply because it's liquid, so I don't have to dissolve things. So the first thing you want to do is, if you do have any excess liquid in the tray, try to empty that out, because you might end up having to fill up the tray with excess water accidentally. So in this case, I just finished using the machine earlier, so I'm just going to throw out some of the water that has accumulated on my drip tray. So alright, the first thing that you want to do is to get rid of your water filter. If your water filter is still new, just take the filter holder out and just put it aside, and make sure you fill up your water tank, because you're going to use up quite a bit of water. A lot of people make the mistake of cleaning their machines with only half a tank of water. Odds are high that you're going to run out. So try to make sure you fill it up to the brim, and at the bare minimum, fill it up to the max. You can go over if you want. It doesn't really make that much of a difference as long as you're not running out of water during the cleaning cycle. So with the cleaning solution, we're using the Knos liquid, and as you can see, this product is designed to be used on kettles and irons, and as well as coffee machines, and it indicates that we use 50 mils of the solution to the machine. So we're just trying to be a little bit more accurate by using the scale. And I'm also going to just pre-dissolve or dilute the solution with some water before I add it to the tank. You don't really need to, but I'm going to do that. Again, there's going to be a lot of water splashing out, so some people just like to run it straight out. I like to run it with an empty portafilter just so that I don't have to clean up as much splashes after my cleaning cycle. So I use the Breville jug to go underneath and catch any liquid that will come out. A timer will also help initially for you, and what I like to do with the first run is to hold the manual extraction button, essentially kind of like the pre-infusion, and I'm going to run this roughly around 20 to 25 seconds just so that the concentrated liquid gets to run through the machine better during the initial first run. I know it's not specified in the manual to do so, but honestly it's just good hygiene to get it mixed. And then after the 30 seconds I let it go and just let the extraction run for another 10 seconds or so, and I either let it stop or just stop it manually. So in the next phase we're going to clean the hot water dispenser. So if your jug is still not full, that's fine, just push it to the side and let the hot water out. And you can see from the water it's going to be kind of milky in color. That tells you that the solution is working, it's running through the system. If there's any residue and scale in your system, this is a great first run for it to flush it out. Again, during the first run I like to run it a little longer before switching to the next item to be cleaned, which is the steam one. You might need to empty the jug as well if it's full already, for obvious reasons, and I'll tell you a very bonus reason why I like using the milk jugs. So next we have the steam one. Again, same thing. Leave the steam on in the jug and then just run the machine and just let it pump. On average I let it pump for around 10 to 15 seconds. That should be sufficient for the first run. Now, depending on how religious you are in purging your steam one, you might want to do this a little longer, just so that you can make sure that you clean out your steam one well. There's going to be a lot of steam in this, so keep your hands off and just be careful. So once you have that cycle done, you can redo the first cycle again. So essentially you're still doing the exact same thing, it's just that you're running it the second time. I'm not going to show the entire sequence again, we don't really need to, it's pretty self-explanatory. But I like running the hot water part a little longer in the second time around, because that allows me to see how far off we are when it comes to actual cleaning the machine, because you can see the white liquid a lot clearer. Again, after the hot water cycle, you can actually see the water getting a little bit clearer. It gives you a very good indicator on whether or not you need to run this a lot longer for the portafilter section or not. In this case, the water is starting to run a little bit clearer, so I'm just gonna stop right here for the hot water, and then I'm just gonna continue with the milk wand section. And then after that, you assess things again, whether or not you need to run another cycle. But in general, if your water is okay, you only need to do this twice. One more thing, after running 2 cycles of this, always check your water tank, because a lot of times we don't really notice it because in the process of cleaning. Remember that you cannot go below that line, so make sure that when you reach halfway, try to top it up. Probably you don't have to top it up completely to full anymore, but just top it up just to be sure. In this case, you have some water in your milk jug when you're cleaning the steam one. It's actually a great time for you to check whether or not the whole cycle is done, right? So after you clean your steam one again, run the water cycle through the group head, and then give it a good wipe. Everything from the shower screen to to the gasket area and all those things. If you want to take off the shower screen, you can do that as well. Just be careful because it's very hot. It's also a great time for you to really scrub your steam wand because it would have taken out a lot of the gunk and the oxidation that is accumulated on the outside of the steam wand if your water is a bit hard. This is also the stage where I like to take out the steam tip to clean, primarily because I know the inside is very clean already, so I can spend some time cleaning the actual nozzle as well as all the milk solids that you probably have noticed since the start of the video at the edge of the lip of the steam tip, right? That's a great time this is the great time to clean it and put it in another jug to soak it for a while, where you all those excess cleaning solution fluid were. At this point, it's a good time to clean get rid of the water and replace it with some fresh water. And if your filter is already a bit old, this is the perfect time for you to replace it. In my case, I typically replace my water filters every 3 months or so. Especially since we moved to this new place, the water is a little harder than our previous place. So I grab my replacement filter. I'm going to fill some fresh water in it just to make sure, the filter itself absorbed a lot of water before I put it back in the receptacle, so that if there's any funky flavors in the filter, I can take that out ahead of time instead of adding it to my actual coffee water. So as I mentioned earlier, I usually replace the filter every 3 months. So right now it's May, so I'm just going to flip the switch so that it reminds me to switch it in August. So my filter has been well soaked, so I'll just get rid of the water, stick the filter back in, snap it back on, and put it back into the machine. Again, if your filter is still good, just reuse the old filter. There's nothing wrong with it. So now with the fresh water back on, I want to run the entire cycle again. I have a tendency to run the hot water first, again, just to give me a visual clue on whether or not fresh water is coming out and whether or not I'm flushing out, any remaining descaling liquid. So I like to do this with the hot water first, and then I go through the steam wand and I actually run the water through the group head last. Again, this is a good indicator for you to check if the descaling liquid has all been flushed out of the system. So now I'm gonna put back my steam tip, into the machine because I almost forgot to do it. Remember not to over tighten this. You really don't need to. And again, the same thing. Run through the rinsing stage. Again, with this, going through the hot water first and then now doing the steam one. I have the ability right now to do two things. One, practice my steaming technique. And second, I can visually see whether I still have some descaling liquid around. If I do, I will actually see some white bubbles and white streaks in my water. And in this case, I'm letting the water swirl around, letting it air out, letting it bubble a bit. And I don't see any white residues, and that means that's good. My system is pretty much cleared out. And the last thing, I'm just going to run it through the group head again, and we're done. So this KNOS, I don't know how you pronounce it, is available online. I think most supermarkets have it as well if you're in Asia. Just try to gauge whether or not your area's water is soft or not. If it's a bit hard, try to run the descale more often than you do. And then just to make sure that you try to take care of the machine by cleaning it periodically. So as I mentioned earlier, one of the bonus that I like using the milk jug is that I can actually de-gunk my milk jugs from any milk that is left inside the jug that I wasn't able to clean. So that's an extra nice bonus. So try to take care of your machine as often as possible. You don't really have to wait for the light to come on, especially with the descaling. If you have hard water, do it more often. If you have good water, you can do it less often. Alright, that's all we have for this week. I hope you liked the video. Again, thanks so much for supporting the channel and giving me continuous feedback on how to improve these videos. Let me know what you want to do next. Give the video a like. Help the channel out with the YouTube algorithm. And thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.